What is up, YouTube? All right, today, so we got this crispy 2011 Polaris Sportsman 850. Now this thing, I bought it, the dude said it needed the TPS sensor, which is mounted right here. I've had it in here a little while. Got a little bit of spider webs. This is your TPS sensor right here, and it requires a special tool because it needs to be at a certain ohms. I think this one was like 0.70 or something like that. I went ahead and put it on there, but I noticed that it's still not running quite right. Now it will idle well, but it doesn't want to take off. I'll show you what it does right here. Now, go figure, this thing would actually run good when I go to shoot a video of it. It basically, like, as soon as you go to take off, it just sputters. So as I started looking around online, these 850s are common for the throttle cable to be an issue. And when I was trying to get to idle, I found that if I held this open, or shut is a better word for it, there's a little bit of kink in there in the line. Can't really see it from here. But if I held that shut, it would actually run better. So I decided I'd order a throttle cable, and the thumb throttle's actually kind of jacked up. The 4-wheel drive switch will not work. There's a sensor in here that makes it to where, like, basically like you can't over throttle it. And you know, this is an EFI bike, so there's a bunch of sensors. And another thing is this harness right here is in such bad shape. Luckily, I got another harness. Brutal Parts sent this over here, and we're gonna splice it on there. I bought this little kit from Amazon. So far, I like it, the heat shrink. So we're gonna try swapping all this over and see if she'll run better. I'll probably try swapping just the thumb throttle and that wiring before I do the throttle cable, just to kind of eliminate that for sure. I got the front plastics and all that good stuff for this. And man, like, if you had to replace the fuel pump on these, this was such a pain in the ass. But these are the first generations of the 850s. They're just harder to work on. And it's hard to read the gauge, but it really doesn't have that many hours on it. From my looks of it, it looks like somebody has never washed this thing and just left it parked out in the sun, because you can see the difference in the color right here and the color right there, like a nice, pretty, sparkly red, and right here you got this dull, I don't even know what color to call that. I'd like to get this thing running and get it out of here today. We're gonna start with splicing in this new harness. It shouldn't be too bad. I can't remember the exact statistic, but it basically said, even in the manual, that majority of the time, the actual issue with these Polarises are the harness connectors, not actually electrical failure. So I hope the TPS sensor isn't that as well, because I do not have a harness for that, which it very well could be. Whatever year he cut this harness off of must have been a little bit newer, because it definitely has a thicker gauge wire. It feels thicker. It's thicker, it's probably the same gauge, but it's like they used a higher quality wire that has more copper in it. Now we're gonna take these T15s out of here. Twist and pull. Man, I'm gonna take these ugly ass handguards off of here too. They probably look good in their prime, but they faded. They're way too faded now. Come on. Now I'm gonna get this thing up out my way. These things they're kind of pricey for what they are. They're going straight to the trash. Junk. Now that's out the way. Take this, stick it back in here. Put the cover back on. Golly, 3 tries and you'll get it. And plug our harness back in. Just want to make sure these wires are covered and protected. I guess I could have stuck some heat shrink wrap over it to do that. Hindsight is 20/20. All right, let's see if this thing will rev right now. Turn a key. Still throwing a code 52194. But I have not been able to get it to rev like that. So I'm gonna take all this stuff off. It's about taking it for a spin. Yeah, boy. She's spinning now. Man, this thing will definitely turn the tires faster, like spin-wise, than my Outlander, but it does not have the power that my Outlander does. Now, technology has changed a lot between 2011 and 2024. It's running a lot better. And honestly, I don't think I'm gonna replace the throttle cable. What I am gonna do is go ahead and put this pod back together. Because as you could saw from the video, it just flew right off when I flew this out the shop. And as I'm riding it out there, I'm like, oh man, it just died on me. I lost all power. This is dangling. It turned the key off. So I'm gonna get this thing partially put back together and ride it for a bit to see if we can get it, because it's driving, it's running like it's got some bad gas in it. And it kind of smells that way too. You can smell it throughout the whole shop. And I'm thinking, no telling how old the gas in this thing is. And plus, when the plastic's off, I can go ahead and wash it and clean all this out. Maybe. I forgot about the gas cap. It's stupid. They built the base for the cap into the front plastic. So this piece, like, it's probably removable, but this one isn't because of how old it is. Oh, you know what? I bet that screws on from the backside. Duh. I just ghetto rigged something to keep from getting gas in it, but it's covered in gas now because I was splashing it around. So we're gonna get it put back together and ride it around and see if we can ride that nastiness out of it. That's a lot of times it's a common thing. You know, you get these machines been parked for years. I have no idea how long this has been parked for. It was originally farmer owned, one owner. His buddy bought it who owned a shop, and I don't know if he was too overwhelmed with working on this that he never got to it. He said he had it about a year. I originally paid $1,000 for this thing, and I probably have, it was like another $100 in fuel because it was not close, but I had picked up some other stuff with it that day, and then about maybe $100 in random miscellaneous parts, tie rods, all the stuff that I bought. So that's not bad for an 850. I mean, to be in this thing, like, I know it's under $1,300. Just to be in this thing for under $1,300. Oh, I had to buy the TPS tool, so it might be just over $1,300. But as many Polaris as I deal with, I'll need it again. It paid for itself on one time. Definitely need some tie rod ends. I'm gonna wash it before I put those on. I hate doing all that while it's dirty as hell. The air filter in this thing was nasty. All right, that'll keep that from moving around. I was not the one to take this apart, and I actually don't have any experience with these 850s. Years ago, I bought one and parted it out, and that's about it. But that was like 9 years ago. So I can tell you this much, I sure as hell don't remember that. Now I gotta track down screws. Get this screwed in together. I got lucky. Just so happened to have some that look legit. These are from a Polaris. I buy a few Polarises and tear them down just to have all the spare parts from it. Sell a few things off of it. And it saves a shitload of money. I'm buying parts for these things. I can't believe Polaris made these harder to put together than the old style. Way to go, guys. Way to go. I do like the style screws that Polaris uses, honestly. I think it's better than a lot of the other manufacturers out there. Looks like that's it. Let's go whip this thing. She's ready for a whip. Let's see. Oh man, this seat's all jacked up underneath here too. Neutral. Sounds good. Yeah, the code's gone away. I bet you they just put some fresh gas on top of bad gas and this thing just kind of needs to be rode out, but even now it's already sounding good. Maybe we cleared out whatever the issue was. Sweet, I'm gonna whip this thing for a few without holding the camera and get a feel for it. Just get her up to running temperature, check 4-wheel drive and all that good stuff. And make sure it don't overheat. Yeah, it would appear it just needed to be cleared out a little bit because it is running fantastic now. No overheating, 4-wheel drive works. Everything is good to go. So the only thing I gotta do is wash this thing and put it back together with tie rod ends because it is not fun riding EPS with bad tie rod ends. Normally, like on most quads, it's not so bad, but EPS, whew, that is terrible. All right, so this thing didn't clean up too shabby. I'm still on the fences. I might take this front bumper off because it's kind of ugly. I think this thing will bring close to, on the high 2000s, closer to $3 grand. It's not quite nice enough to bring $3 grand. It's not perfect, but it's all right. And I can get it up out of the shop now. But she runs good. Man, these 850s sound mean stock. Probably gonna have to wash it again before I put it up for sale. I guess there's some dirt I missed over here. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out some more of the shop vlogs. That's all for today. On to the next one.